Welcome to Women Have Needs Too. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to learn what my financial options are as a business owner. We are here today with Jennifer Mulligan from Mulligan Financial. She's been interested in the world of commerce ever since she has watched her entrepreneurial mother run a successful small business. After becoming a young mother herself in 2000, Jennifer became adept at structured days, sleepless nights, and continued dedication to her child and her career. She has always worked in the male-dominated industry of banking and rose to the top by being a skilled leader and mentor. She specializes in building teams and creating tomorrow's leaders in the financial industry. Jennifer has sat on numerous boards, won multiple awards for leadership, and continues to give back by volunteering for many nonprofits. A Tampa native, Jennifer has had to learn to pivot multiple times in her career. And today we're going to talk about her latest pivot, Mulligan Financial. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so happy to have you with us.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
Oh, it's going to be a fun day, Jennifer, because we're going to delve deep. Now, if anybody remembers, we've had Jennifer on here before. I think we talked a little bit about your book. What was the name of your book again? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You're the best investment.
How could I forget? It's such a great title and a great book. You're the best investment. And today we're going to talk about investments in general, possibly, and financial options, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us because there's 10,000 different financial institutions in the world. What is different and unique about Mulligan Financial, and what is your specialty?
Such a great question. So, when you think of a financial institution, you think of a bank, you think of your ordinary everyday products, your checking account, your savings account, your personal loan, your commercial loans. So at Mulligan Financial, we handle things a little bit differently. We focus in on startups, in connecting the startups with seed funding, angel funding, and government entities as well. We also will work with factoring and factoring companies, and we broker out our relationships with factoring. We'll also work with the small business owners that are not quite ready for funding needs, that aren't bankable at a bank. We'll work with those and work with our private investors. In addition, we will work with clients on bank turndowns. At a lot of times, individuals are turned down from an institution and they may not understand the why. Or they're shopping something and they don't understand their own financials. And Mulligan Financial will actually break down the numbers for you and help you better understand your business and what you're able to find as far as your banking needs go. In addition, a couple other nuances that we are working on. We'll work with commercial realtors as well in commercial real estate. We'll work with private investors who are looking to fund, to basically take some of their funds and invest that into real estate projects. A lot of times that's called a 1035 exchange, just to name one entity on how to transfer funds. And that's just a couple of ways that we're able to help different types of clients.
Every time I talk to you, Jennifer, I think of more shows that we need to do so we can delve deeper into different topics. I love that. I love that about you, and I love that about your business. So there was something that you said before bank turndowns, and I didn't write it down. And what was it before bank turndowns? Is traditional bank loans or something about?
Yeah, non-traditional and traditional bank loans. So I'll give you an example. Right now, a lot of individuals are going through what I'd say a crisis of PPP status. And they're so busy running their business right now that their bankers are unavailable. They're swamped with PPP loans. So many of them have come to Mulligan Financial, and we've partnered up with other entities in order to help transition them for them to receive their PPP funding.
Oh, that's beautiful, because you're right. They're overloaded. I mean, how do they keep up? I mean, there's so many people who are in crisis mode right now, and they're like, oh, another PPP? Let's go. And I've spoken with a lot of people. They're like, I'm applying for mine right now. It's so easy. But on the other end of it, there's some banker
What's
that
going on?
needs to take care of it and process it and evaluate it and all that. Speaking
Yeah.
of evaluating or valuating, you said something about factoring. That's not the same as valuating, is it?
Factoring is lending off of invoicing. So we will also do factoring as well, and we partner with different factoring companies, and we'll help lend off of on a factor basis as well.
I love it. That, yeah, and I learned about that about 10 years ago, but it was, not anything that was involved with at the time. And I find that very interesting because if we can talk about that. So if you need money, let's just say you are invoicing at $10,000, maybe $100,000 a month. You can borrow off of that invoicing, right? Are you selling the
Right.
invoicing? Is that what you're doing? I'm trying to
So you can,
remember.
yeah. So basically, what's happening is the entity is you're borrowing off of your futures, basically based on your historicals, and then your futures is what we're looking at, and we're lending off that future borrow.
Now with COVID, our financial institutions like hesitating to lend off of factoring because of the obvious.
We Yeah, I mean, we've seen some changes in the different factoring companies that we work with. We don't just work with one, there's multiple that we work with. They all have handled it differently, but there is still some wiggle room. They understand COVID. So it's kind of this was a COVID year. It's kind of become the norm. We understand it, but we are still seeing lending happen in that arena.
And so you're specializing with startups, right? So
We work with
let's talk about that because I bet there have been like 1 million startups in this country over
Yeah,
the last 8 to 10 months.
Yeah, and it's surprising, to be honest with you, that we're seeing so many startups in the time of COVID. But I think what we're seeing and hearing is there's been a lot of job displacement. So individuals dug deep on their own skill sets and figured out what they really wanted to do, and maybe took some of their retirement, or they're consulting with us on what they can do for a startup mode. Different product launches, technology startups as well. We're seeing a rise in that. I would definitely say there's quite a few tech startups that we're working on right now. And finding those individual angel investors to invest in these startups really has been that's been the fun part, I'd say. We're learning a lot about the tech side, but then we're also learning a lot about who's going to invest with them. But we're seeing a lot within a lot of the startup areas right now. I'd also say we're seeing some more in the SBA arena as well. A lot of people are still going to the looking for SBA 7 loans. So we're seeing quite a bit in that small business arena. And I think if you look back at the economy and you look back at America, what was it? It was the heartbeat of America was the small businesses. So that's what we're starting to see a lot more of within that space again.
Absolutely. I was using an analogy the other day because I come from the hospitality industry, and I don't even know how accurate this is, but this is what comes to mind for me is, all these, not just hotels and resorts, but everything that goes into hospitality, the convention centers, the third party vendors. I worked for a trade show decorator for forever, and audiovisual companies similar to the one that I'm sitting in right now who've pivoted, but then there are those that that have dwindled and their employee base is down to 1 or 2 people, the higher ups only, and then the rest of them, they're either collecting unemployment or they're starting their own business. And
Yep.
my analogy was to the to like the telephone companies of the day where there was just Ma Bell, and then all of a sudden the deregulation came, and I kind of side by side that with what's going on now. It's almost a deregulation of everything right now. and
Yeah.
people are without jobs and they're starting their businesses and getting a new start, and then all of a sudden they're going to build up their businesses, and then one day those larger companies will come back and start buying up those small companies again. That's how I see it happening. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
what's going to happen, Jennifer. These are these crazy things that go on in my head at night.
Yeah.
And during the day too. It's very dangerous, very dangerous.
I'll give you a crystal ball, Linda.
Yeah, if I only had one. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So let me ask you this with startup businesses. I mean, because truly the angel investor to startups is a true angel. I can see them, just being like a god, when they come and say, yes, we want to give you money. Ah! And then
Yes.
all of a sudden this business has life and they can go on with their list of things that they need to do and want to do to grow their business and to be a success. So
Yeah.
what's the checklist for somebody who's starting a business? What's the checklist before they need to come to somebody like you and say, I need money, I want money, I need an angel investor, I need an angel.
Yeah.
What is that checklist?
Yeah, you're going to need everything from your business plan. I'd say get your business plan together. That's a must. As obviously you're moved past the registration part and you have your EIN, your tax ID, all of that together, but you're going to need a business plan. Really understand what you're looking for. Understand your actual need that you have as well. We have a lot of people that will come to us and say, you know what, I need funding, but I don't know how much I need. So that's where we kind of step in a little bit sometimes as well. Whether it's a small business or a larger business, it's like, let's really analyze what it is that you need, but definitely have that business plan in place, have your tax returns together, your personal returns as well. That's really important as well when we're lending. Understand, again, what is it that you need the funds for, so that we can better understand how and what collateral you have to collateralize the loan as well.
Okay. Yeah, collateral.
Yeah.
Put that on the list.
Collateral, your credit, and we always say your criteria too. And your character. Those are kind of our 4 C's of credit. So
And
what's your background?
what is the criteria cover?
Criteria. So if you're looking for a small business loan in the startup arena, we're looking for your statements, your bank statements. We're looking for your tax returns, and then with character, we're looking at have you been arrested before? What's that background look like? If you're starting a new business, do you have experience in that business previously? So if I'm going to start a financial firm, for example, have I been in the finance industry for years? If you're going to start a TV show, TV company, have you been in media your entire career? What bench strength do you have? Have you been in management positions? What's your background look like? So that's criteria as well.
Gotcha. Well, this is a lot of good information. So, what have you been seeing in the VC world and the angel world? Are they looking for? I know you mentioned product. Product launches and tech startups. Are those the big ones? And do VCs and angel investors, do they look for a certain type of business?
There are some that are interested in it varies. It's a range, whether it's healthcare. I've heard healthcare is a strength right now. Technology is a strength right now. And there's a few out there on different products as well. Some are looking for you to be in business for at least 1 year to show a 1-year track record. But those industries, I mentioned healthcare and tech, seem to be there's a very strong likability of you gaining some type of funding with the angels today.
Do they look at how much money you've personally invested so far?
They look at how much money you've invested. They look at how much money your partners, if you have partners, have invested. If you've received any other private fundings or equities from any other sources, they'll peel in on all of that. Absolutely.
Interesting. Very cool. I love it. I love it. This is good information, Jennifer. What
you.
else? What else can you add to that?
To add to what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, as I mentioned, the different products and services that we offer today, working together, with my team. It's an exciting time, to be honest with you. We're also starting to see a lot in the commercial real estate. We're seeing some changes within that space, so I did want to add that. A lot of companies that owned a lot of commercial real estate are realizing that their employees are not going back to work. So I think that's something to say that could be a ouch, but it also can be how are the companies being creative with that commercial real estate space today?
What
So we've
is
seen
happening with it?
we're seeing more co-work spaces happen. We're seeing
Yes.
that co-work is becoming the new norm. They're taking out their parcels and they're willing to get a little bit more creative for co-working space. So we're seeing some of that. And then we're seeing some just completely sell off and transition the spaces to something different, whether it's medical or technology driven or a different type of company that's going into the spaces today as well.
That's what I wonder. I drive down the street and a little boutique, she said she sold really nice furniture and accessories and that kind of thing, a small place, but beautiful, beautiful place. I just saw the other day that she closed down, and then she's in a strip with about two or three other businesses. And, the business next to her, I just hate the thought of us driving down the street and then we've got these skeleton buildings, freestanding, and just that commerce, that person who's, that the business that they've built up over the last 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden, because of lockdowns and shutdowns and shut-ins and what we've been going through, it's just commerce is disappearing because it's taking a twist.
Yeah.
People are doing more shopping online. So I mean, that's an interesting question too. I think is for the VCs and the investors. Are they steering away from retail type establishments, or does it depend on? I mean, I can't even imagine anybody opening up something like that with a brick and mortar right now.
No, I'd say a lot of the individuals that we're receiving today are individuals that are selling online and
Yeah.
have the online platforms.
Right.
That's really where they're seeing their marketing dollars go towards online sales. That's where the uptick has been and is trending towards, and that's where they're needing that additional push is online sales. Yeah.
And do you see any investments and new businesses that are going into these establishments? And if you are seeing them, what kind of establishments are going into them, and what is going on with these buildings? I know I've seen a few buildings get either gutted, and I don't even know what they're doing. I'm so curious to see what they're doing with some of these buildings. And then a lot of them, they're landsliding them and building condos.
Yeah, we're seeing condo conversions starting to happen more as well. You're
Yeah.
seeing some brownstone or what I'd say LMI marketplaces where they're taking the buildings and maybe converting them into grocery stores. We're seeing some of that, or breweries. I've seen some of that as
Yeah,
well.
because we need more breweries. 'Cause
Yeah, we need more of those. Breweries and wedding venues, we need a lot more of those.
Yeah, right. All those weddings that got put off in 2020.
Yeah,
The wedding venues are going to be they're going to be hurting because they're going to have to turn people away. So if you have a business idea for a wedding venue, get on it.
Get on it. Get on that list.
What other ideas? I mean, because there's probably people out there who want to do something, but they don't know what to do. So can we talk? We've got a couple minutes to kill. Can we talk about some things that you've seen that look hot and ready for for some good business?
Hot and ready for business. I mean, we have seen, the whole trampoline park space come and go a little bit. So the trampoline park for the kids. So people are always still looking for something fun for their kids to do. So we're seeing still some of that happen as well. So that's kind of fun. I mentioned the brewery space. We're seeing some of that pick back up because, people like to drink, vineyards as well, right? Wine.
How about a trampoline place with a brewery right next to it?
Oh, that sounds great, Linda. Let's put it together.
I think the insurance on that would be really high.
Absolutely. A little bit of risk on that. A little bit of risk.
Oh, God.
You're funny.
What the hell? Let's
Throw a
put a
wedding
brewery
venue in
right
there,
next
too.
to the
What's that?
trampoline.
With the wedding venue in there.
Yes, because once they get hurt, they're going to fall in love and they're going to need to get married.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I love it. Well, Jennifer, it's such a blast always talking with you, and we need to go hit a brewery somewhere. I don't drink
Yes, let's do
beer,
it.
but we'll find a winery.
A brewery that serves winery. How about
Yes,
that?
a brewery that serves wine. I love it.
Yes.
Why can't we put a brewery and a winery right next to each other? You know,
Let's
the
just
men
blend
can go into one side,
it.
the women can go in the other.
The
and
wine
then
brew.
the-
Let's call it the
and
wine
then
brew.
they get married in the backyard.
Sounds great. Let's do it. We're coming up with great business ideas now.
We
Linda.
are. We
Here
can brainstorm like crazy. I love it. Well, thank you. Jennifer, how can people find Mulligan Financial?
Mulligan Financial, www.mulliganfinancialservice.com.
And they need to check out your book.
And you need to check out my book, you'rethebestinvestment.com.
Yes, I love that. And where can they find that? Is that on your website as well?
That's on the link, you'rethebestinvestment.com. It soon will have a hyperlink on the website as well to find that.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Well, thank
Great.
you so much for joining us today. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to learn about my financial options. And right now, the best place to find it is with Jennifer at Mulligan Financial. Thank you, Jennifer, and have a great day, everybody.
You too. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.